It started on a sunny Saturday morning. I had spent the week cleaning out closets, the garage, and the attic, gathering years' worth of unused things. Folding tables were set up across my front lawn, neatly displaying books, toys, kitchenware, and old tools. A bright sign out front read, "Yard Sale. Today only." Neighbors wandered over with smiles, browsing happily. For a while, everything went smoothly. But then, like clockwork, Karen appeared. She stood at the edge of my driveway, arms crossed, watching with thinly veiled disdain. I could sense she was planning something unpleasant, and I wasn't wrong. Karen stormed closer, heels clicking on the pavement, muttering loudly about unsightly messes and property values. She eyed the tables as if they were toxic waste, shaking her head at each item. Within minutes, she whipped out her phone, scrolling through her HOA contacts. Everyone in the neighborhood knew Karen was quick to enforce rules even ones she imagined existed. I had checked the bylaws the night before, and yard sales were perfectly allowed. Still, that didn't matter to her. She called someone from the HOA office, loudly demanding action. Soon, she was pacing angrily, waiting for backup. Neighbors gathered quietly, whispering about Karen's latest outburst. Some rolled their eyes, others smirked knowingly. Karen was infamous for trying to shut down harmless things kids playing too loudly. Holiday lights she claimed were too bright, even a lemonade stand. This time, though, she seemed determined. After a few minutes, she marched back to my lawn and announced that authorities were on their way. My customers hesitated, unsure whether to keep browsing or leave. The cheerful atmosphere of the morning quickly grew tense. I kept calm, though, because I knew my rights. Karen, however, looked absolutely triumphant. Not long after, an HOA representative showed up. He was clearly annoyed, arriving with paperwork in hand. Karen rushed to him, pointing wildly at my tables and accusing me of illegal commercial activity. The man listened, flipping through the rulebook, as neighbors watched in silence. Finally, he looked up and confirmed what I already knew. Yard sales were not prohibited. In fact, the HOA had approved them in writing years ago. Karen's face reddened instantly. Instead of backing down, she grew louder, insisting something had to be wrong. The HOA rep shook his head, already losing patience. Karen wasn't finished. She declared she would escalate matters and promptly dialed 911. Gasps rippled through the crowd as she complained to the police about its unauthorized business activity. Within minutes, the sound of sirens approached. Karen's smug grin returned, convinced she had finally cornered me. My tables stood exactly as they had, my customers frozen in place, unsure of what would happen next. When the patrol car pulled up, Karen rushed toward it, theatrically pointing at me in my yard. But the officers didn't immediately approach me. They paused, listening carefully to Karen's frantic, exaggerated accusations. The officers calmly asked Karen to explain her complaint. She waved her arms, claiming I was violating community laws and disturbing the peace. They turned toward the HOA representative, who clarified that no rules were broken and everything was authorized. Karen's voice cracked as she tried to argue further, and one officer interrupted, asking if she realized calling 911 for a non-emergency was a crime. Karen froze. Neighbors leaned in, waiting. The officer explained she had wasted police resources over a personal vendetta. Suddenly, Karen's self-righteous act faltered. She stammered, realizing the tables had turned. The police pulled Karen aside. Her attempts to regain control grew desperate, but the officers didn't budge. They wrote her a citation for filing a false report and warned her about potential charges if she continued. The crowd of neighbors erupted into quiet laughter and whispers. Some even clapped. My yard sale instantly regained its cheerful buzz, customers smiling as they browsed again. Meanwhile, Karen stood stiff, clutching her handbag, glaring at everyone. She had wanted to humiliate me, but instead, she had become the neighborhood's spectacle. The officers returned to their car, leaving Karen fuming. As the police drove away, Karen stormed back to her house without another word. Her plan had backfired spectacularly. The HOA rep apologized for the disruption and even bought a small lamp from me, smirking as he walked off. My neighbors lingered longer than expected, some making extra purchases as a show of support. The yard sale turned out to be more successful than I could have imagined. By the end of the day, I had cleared most of my items and made a nice profit. Karen had tried to shut me down, but she only boosted my success.